Salvete omnes. This is Abbey Latin, Liber Primus, Chapter 5. This is a video lesson on morphology of Latin's first and second declension adjectives. Let us start with the parts of speech. We have the noun, the pronoun, the adjective, the verb, the adverb, the preposition, the conjunction, and the interjection. In Latin, they are the nomen, pronomen, adjectivum, the verbum, adverbium, the praepositio, conjunctio, and the interjectio. We have talked about the nomen, the noun. We have talked about the verbum, the word, the verb. Talked about the praepositio, the preposition. A little bit about the conjunctio, the conjunction. We've mentioned briefly about the adverbium, the adverb, and in today's lesson we will be talking about the adjectivum, the adjective. Adjectivum is Latin for thrown up against or set up alongside. We could also translate it as additional. It's called additional because it gives more additional information about a noun. Adjectives modify nouns. So, adjective, which gives additional information about a noun. Adjectives describe, we say they modify nouns. In English, an English adjective typically goes before the noun that the adjective is modifying. So we have the noun boy, and girl, and barn, and monkeys. In English, we say a tall boy. Tall is an adjective describing, giving more information about boy. We say that the adjective tall modifies the noun boy. A smart girl. The adjective smart modifies, gives more information, and describes the noun girl. A red barn. 12 monkeys. Colors are adjectives as they describe nouns. Numbers are adjectives because they describe nouns. Additionally, English adjectives should be in the following order. Yes, there is a little bit of word order here in English. If you take the adjectives out of this order, something sounds a little bit kind of off, makes you twitch your head to one side. So the order should be opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, purpose, and then the noun. So if you have a list of adjectives, the list should go in this order. If you take the adjectives out of this order, it sounds odd to a native English speaker. This is why you can have a lovely little old trapezoidal green German goring knife. So all of these adjectives, opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, or purpose, and then the noun knife. But if you take them out of that order and say, I have a green, lovely, trapezoidal, old, goring little knife, that just sounds odd, especially the little knife at the end. We would expect that somewhere else under size. Lovely little. You'd expect little earlier in the list. This isn't really terribly important, but it does go to show how adjectives work in English, and there is a little bit of word order here. So adjectives tend to go before the noun which they modify in English. Other than that, English adjectives really do not change their form very much. If you have the adjective old describing the noun book, we can say the old book. The old book is sitting on the table. The old book's cover is falling apart. The old books are sitting on the table. The old book's covers are falling apart. So notice the adjective old does not change. There's no morphology here. There's no changing of the forms, morphing. However, when you go to Latin, a little bit different. When you look up words in a Latin dictionary and you go look up a first and second declension adjective, they will be arranged like so. So you have altus tall or high, where the first form, the us form, this is the nominative masculine singular, us, Hopefully that looks familiar to you. And then a, that's the nominative feminine singular. A, hopefully that looks familiar to you, as well as the nominative neuter singular form. And then, of course, the English definition. We'll go back to these later. So let's just focus on these us, forms. So we are focusing this lesson on Latin adjectives of the first and second declension, because English nouns mostly get their syntax based on word order. So the adjective comes before the noun doesn't need to change very much. But because Latin has all these cases, Latin has 2 numbers and 3 genders, there needs to be a different form for each one of the adjectives to correspond to each case, for each case of the noun, each number of the noun, each gender of the noun. Therefore, Latin adjectives of the first and second declension, they just have first and second declension endings. There's no real new learning here. You just have to kind of learn how they work. You should already be very, very familiar with these endings. So let's check it out. Altus this is an abbreviation for altus, alta, altum. This is the nominative singular of each of the 3 genders. So the us, the a, and the the nominative, the feminine, and the neuter. This is the nominative, the feminine, and the neuter. So the nominative here, altus, masculine will use second declension masculine endings. Us, I, o, I, orum, is, os, is. Here we have the feminine, alta. The feminine will use first declension feminine endings. A, I, a, I, arum, is, as, is. And then the neuter will use second declension neuter endings. I, o, a, orum, is, a, is. So once again, as long as you know the noun endings, the endings for the first declension, and then the second declension masculine and neuter, then you should be pretty good. So if we make a noun agree, if we make an adjective agree with a noun, like this is the adjective tall, we want to say tall boy, that would be puer altus. But if we want to say tall girl, we cannot have the masculine altus go with a feminine noun like puella. So puella, the adjective must change to suit the noun. And it is probably for that reason that most adjectives in Latin follow the nouns they modify. In English, the adjective typically comes before the noun that it modifies. In Latin, the noun typically the adjective comes typically after the noun if it's a descriptor, if it's a describing, showing a quality. Adjectives describing a quantity, number, so many, much, all. Those typically come before the noun in Latin. So most adjectives come after the noun in Latin, probably because the adjective has to force its endings to suit whatever ending the noun is. So whatever case, number, and gender the noun is, the adjective must follow suit. So notice that puer, if puer is nominative, singular, and masculine, then the adjective must be altus, nominative, singular, and masculine. If we decline puer and change it to accusative puerum, then once again, the adjective must decline as well to be accusative, singular, and masculine to agree with it. So adjectives must agree with the nouns they modify in gender, in number, and in case. They must. So we have a puella alta, a tall girl. And then for neuter, a neuter noun like regnum I neuter, we're not going to use the masculine altus or the feminine alta, but it will get the altum neuter path. So altum, I, o, orum, is, a, is. So those are the us, a, masculine, feminine, neuter guys. Us, a, There are 2 other flavors, and they are air forms. So miser, misera, miserum. poor, unfortunate. So miser. The ER here, that's the nominative masculine singular form. Then we have misera. Notice I did not abbreviate these like I did up here. Adjective forms, feel free to abbreviate because the stem is found by chopping off either the us, the or the the stem can be found in the masculine altus. So you just chop off the us and you'll get the stem. So altus, the stem is alt. Latus, the stem is lat. Now, miser, misera, miserum, you have to write out the whole forms for the feminine and the neuter, because that's how you get the stem. You do not get the stem from the masculine if the adjective ends in er, like miser and poker. You do not get the stem from the masculine. You get the adjective stem from going to either the feminine or the neuter form, it doesn't matter which, and chopping off the feminine a, or the neuter it doesn't matter which, you'll get the same thing. So miser is going to be the stem for miser, miserar, miserum. You can also think of English. We say miserable, miserable. We don't say miserable. We don't drop the E, miserable, miserable. So the declension of miser looks like this. We have miser, misera, miserum. Chop off the a or the and I underlined it to get the stem miser. Now you write miser for all the other blanks, not for the nominative singular masculine. The nominative singular masculine is whatever the dictionary says it is, miser. It just happens to be the same as the stem. It won't always be. Stay tuned. So for the rest of the forms, except for the nominative singular masculine, this guy, write the stem. You can see miser forms the stem for all of these, all of these, all of these, except for that guy, except for the nominative singular masculine guy. So miser is the stem for all of these, and then you add second declension masculine for the masculine, first declension feminine for the feminine, and second declension neuter endings for the neuter, just like you did with altus. It's just that masculine er guy is kind of weird. So we have the same e o, e orum is os is for the masculine, I arum is as is for the feminine, and e o, a orum is a is for the neuter. So we will have a puer miser, a wretched boy, but a puella misera, a wretched girl, and a regnum miserum, a poor kingdom in the neuter. And then the last flavor for first and second declension adjectives, they're called that because they use first and second declension endings. Yes. Poker, pokra, pokrum, meaning beautiful. Once again, to get the stem, you chop off the a or the Don't go to that masculine. That's deceptive. Poker, er. Pokra, pokrum. Notice the e drops out. It's poker. It's not pokera or pokerum. Think of the English word pulchritude. Pulchritude. The E has dropped out. The stem is pulchritude. The stem is here. It's not pulcheritude. As opposed to miser, where the E stays. The English word miserable instead of miserable. Pulchritude instead of pulcheritude. So you can use English to figure out Latin. You can also use some Latin to figure out English. So the stem is pulcher, E has dropped out. And once again, it declines the same way. So leave that nominative singular masculine guy alone. Here's the stem pulcher, and then make pulcher the stem for the rest of the forms. All of them, except for this guy. Leave this guy alone. Leave him whatever the dictionary says he should be, pulcher. So e o, e orum is os is for the masculine, second declension endings. I orum is as is for the feminine, that's first declension endings, and for the neuter, e o, a orum is a is for second declension neuter. So puer poker, a puella pulchra, and a regnum pulchrum. So a beautiful boy, beautiful girl, and a beautiful kingdom. All right, watch a little bit, and I do mean a little bit of this video. It also gives you some hints to secret arcane knowledge of the future. Oops.
This is the world-famous adjective chart for the positive, comparative, and superlative degrees. First and second declension adjectives, positive degree. They come in 3 different kinds, like latus, which means wide or broad. Us, are the endings. The us stands for the masculine, the is the nominative feminine, and the is the nominative neuter. The stem is found by taking the us off of the first part. So the stem is lot. The next kind of first and second declension adjective is miser, misera, misero, where you have era, erum. Notice that the E stays in all the forms, and you find the stem by chopping off either the A or the So the stem of this adjective is miser, and it will keep the stem unchanged, miser, throughout its entire declension. The endings, which will be first and second declension, will be added to this stem, miser. That's slightly different from pulcher, pulcra, pulcrum, which means beautiful or pretty. Notice that in its feminine and neuter forms, the E has dropped out. Pulcher, no E, no E. Go to the feminine or the neuter form, the A or the chop them off to get the stem. The adjective stem is pulcher. Notice that the E has dropped out. The only place in this adjective's declension that the E stays is right here in the nominative singular masculine pulcher form. Otherwise, E has dropped out, and that's the stem. The endings, which will be first and second declension, are added to this stem. So for the third...
Nothing more there. Nothing more to see. Move along. Make sure you know everything that guy, i.e. me, just said. All right, let's practice. Let's do some practice. Let's decline the noun adjective per puer altus, a tall boy. Start, if it's easier for you, by declining the noun first, because by now you should be good at declining nouns. Puer. You should be able to decline puer pretty easily. Then add the adjective, then decline altus on its own. But when you put them side to side, it'll be easier to see how they decline together. The goal that you should progress towards is to decline them by case, like this. So the noun and then the adjective, and then the genitive, noun, and then adjective, noun, adjective, noun, adjective. If it's easier to decline the noun first and then decline the adjective, we'll start out doing that. That's okay. But progress, work towards going by case. Okay, here we go. Here's how to do this step by step to decline a noun adjective pair in Latin. Okay, get your chart. Puer altus. You need to know the dictionary entry for both the noun and the adjective. So the noun, it's puer, pueri, masculine boy. And for the adjective, it's altus, tall or high. So we'll start with the noun. So the nominative singular for this noun is puer, because the dictionary told me so. Puer, pueri, masculine. The genitive is pueri. Okay, it has an I. It's got an I ending. So this tells me it's second declension, and it's puer, pueri, masculine. So it's second declension masculine. The stem is found by chopping off that genitive singular ending to get puer, and then we put puer in the rest of the blanks, and then we add second declension masculine endings. E, o, o, e, orm, is, os, is. So puer, pueri, puero, puerum, puero, pueri, puerorum, pueris, pueros, pueris. Hopefully this is very familiar to you. All right, let's work on altus, the adjective. So it's altus a. Now, because pueri is masculine, we want the masculine altus, us form. We don't want the feminine alta or the neuter altum form. We want altus. Therefore, the path of declension that altus will follow will be second declension masculine. Hey, just like the second declension masculine puer. So the nominative is altus, because the dictionary told me so. The genitive will be alti. We chop off the genitive singular. You can also chop off the us masculine to get the stem, and the stem is going to be alt, and we write alt for all the blanks, and then add second declension masculine endings. Us, e, o, e, orum, is, os, is. So for a tall boy, we have puer altus, pueri alti, puero alto, puerum altum, puero alto, pueri alti, puerorum altorum, pueris altis, pueros altos, and pueris altis. Optime, very well done. Make sure you practice some more. Go ahead and move on to exercise A, which is declining some more noun and adjective pairs using adjectives of the first and second declension. Optime, valete omnes.